Title: I thought it was a prank, it wasn't. I thought it was a prank. It wasn't. The text message came at 2:14 a.m. Unknown number. 7 words. I'm in your house right now watching. Sarah deleted it, rolled over, went back to sleep. She lived alone in a ground floor apartment in Bristol, England. 23 years old. Worked at a bookshop. No enemies. No drama. Just a quiet life. The next morning, she found her kitchen window open. She never opened that window. Ever. It was painted shut. Had been since she moved in. But there it was. Wide open. Cold air pouring in. She stared at it. Touched the frame. The paint was cracked. Fresh. Like someone had forced it. She thought about the text. Felt her stomach drop. Called her landlord. He came over. Checked the window. Said it looked like someone pried it open from the outside. Tool marks on the sill. He asked if anything was missing. She did. Nothing gone. Nothing moved. Everything exactly where she left it. Except the window. The landlord suggested she call the police. She did. They came. Took a report. Asked the same questions. Anything missing? Any ex-boyfriends? Anyone with a grudge? They said it was probably kids. Teenagers messing around. Send dumb texts. Pick a random house. Try to scare someone. Happens all the time. But the window, that wasn't random. That took effort. That took time. Someone stood outside her kitchen, in the dark, and forced that window open. While she was sleeping, the police took photos, gave her a case number, said they'd patrol the area more often, told her to call if anything else happened. Then they left. Sarah couldn't shake it. That feeling. Someone had been there. Outside her window. Maybe inside her apartment. While she slept. While she was vulnerable. While she had no idea. She didn't sleep that night. Or the next. She pushed a chair against the kitchen window. Checked the locks on her door 17 times. Kept her phone next to her pillow. Lights on. Every sound made her jump. On the third night, another text. Same number. 2:14 a.m. again. You moved the chair. I saw. Sarah sat up. Read it 3 times. Grabbed her phone. Called 999. Told them someone was watching her apartment. Right now. They said they'd send a car. She stayed on the line. Looked at her window. Chair still there. Curtains drawn. No movement. She walked through her apartment. Checked every room. Closets. Bathroom. Under the bed. Nothing. No one. She went back to the window. Pulled the curtain back slightly. Looked outside. Empty street. Parked cars. Streetlights. No one there. Police arrived 12 minutes later. 2 officers. Searched the area. Checked the street. Looked behind the building. Nothing. No one suspicious. No signs of anyone watching. They told her the same thing as before. Probably kids. Probably saw her close the curtains earlier. Lucky guess about the chair. But it wasn't a guess. Someone knew. Someone was watching. Someone was making sure she knew they were there. The officers suggested she stay somewhere else. Friend's house. Family. Just for a few nights. Until they figured it out. Sarah packed a bag. Called her sister. Drove across Bristol. Stayed in her sister's spare room. For nights. Nothing. No texts. No calls. No messages. She started to relax. Started to think maybe the police were right. 'Cause, bad timing. Bad luck. On the 5th night, she went back to her apartment. Needed clothes. Needed her laptop for work. Needed to feel normal again. She pulled up to her building. 7:30 p.m. Still light out. Grabbed her keys. Walked to her door. It was unlocked. She always locked it. Boys. Triple checked. Especially after everything. She pushed it open slowly. Looked inside. Everything looked normal. Lights off. Quiet. Same as she left it. She stepped inside. Closed the door. Locked it behind her. Walked to her bedroom. That's when she saw it. Her bed. Perfectly made. Hospital corners. Pillows arranged. Duvet smooth. She never made her bed. Ever. And she definitely didn't make it before she left 5 days ago. She'd thrown the covers off. Left in a rush. The bed had been unmade. Someone had been inside. Someone had touched her things. Someone had made her bed. Sarah ran. Didn't grab anything. Didn't check anything. Just ran. Out the door. To her car. Locked the doors. Called police. Fin. They came. Fin. Searched the apartment. Fin. No signs of forced entry. Door wasn't damaged. Windows secure. Nothing missing. Nothing vandalized. Just the bed. They asked if anyone else had a key. Landlord. That's it. They called him. He said he hadn't been there. Hadn't sent anyone. Hadn't given anyone permission. The police dusted for prints. Found hers. Found the landlord's from when he checked the window. Found nothing else. Whoever made that bed wore gloves. Or wiped everything clean. Sarah never went back. Not alone. Got her sister. Got a friend. Went during the day. Packed her things. Broke her lease. Moved out within a week. Found a new place. Different neighborhood. Second floor. Better locks. Security system. But it didn't stop. 3 weeks in the new apartment. No messages. No incidents. Sarah started sleeping again. Started feeling safe. Different building. Different locks. Different life. Then her phone rang. 2:14 a.m. Unknown number. She didn't answer. It rang again. And again. 5 times. She turned it off. Put it under her pillow. Tried to sleep. In the morning, she checked. 7 missed calls. All from the same unknown number. All at 2:14 a.m. No voicemails. Nothing. She blocked the number. Changed her number. Got a new SIM card. Told only her family and close friends. Kept it private. Unlisted. 2 days later. New text. Different number. Same time. 2:14 a.m. I like your new apartment. Second floor is better. Sarah stopped breathing. Read it again. And again. Second floor. They knew. They knew where she moved. They knew which floor. They'd found her. She called the police. Same story. Same questions. They filed another report. Linked it to the previous case. Said they'd investigate. Asked if she'd noticed anyone following her. Anyone suspicious. Anyone watching. She'd been careful. Hadn't told anyone where she moved except family. Hadn't posted it anywhere. Hadn't updated any accounts. How did they find her? The detective assigned to her case suggested digital tracking. Maybe her phone. Maybe her car. Maybe a tag stuck somewhere. He recommended checking. She did. Had her car searched. Had her phone checked. Nothing. No trackers. No bugs. No devices. Whoever this was, they were watching her the old-fashioned way. Following her. Observing her. Learning her routine. Sarah installed cameras. Inside and outside her apartment. Motion sensors. Smart locks. She documented everything. Every text. Every call. Every incident. Built a file. Timestamps. Screenshots. Evidence. The texts continued. Not every night. But often enough. Always at 2:14 a.m. Always from different numbers. Always showing they knew things they shouldn't. You bought milk today. Organic. You usually get regular. Your sister visited. She stayed 3 hours. You changed your route to work. The old way was faster. Those small details. Things only someone watching constantly would know. Things that proved this wasn't random. This was targeted. Deliberate. Planned. The police escalated the case. Brought in digital forensics. Tried to trace the numbers. All burner phones. Activated. Used once. Discarded. Untraceable. Bought with cash. No names. No records. Whoever this was knew how to stay hidden. They suggested she move again. Leave Bristol entirely. Go somewhere new. Start over. But Sarah refused. Why should she run? She'd done nothing wrong. This was her life. Her city. She wasn't going to let some stalker chase her away. Instead, she got strategic. Varied her routine. Changed her schedule randomly. Took different routes. Different stores. Different times. Made it harder to predict her movements. For 2 weeks, it worked. No texts. No calls. Nothing. Then her doorbell rang. 2:14 a.m. Sarah was awake. She was always awake at 2:14 a.m. now. Waiting. Watching her phone. Watching her cameras. The doorbell rang again. She looked at the camera feed on her phone. Hallway. Empty. No one there. But the doorbell kept ringing. Over and over. Someone was pressing it. Someone was there. But not visible on camera. She called police. Stayed on the line. Didn't open the door. Didn't move. Just watched the feed. Hallway. Empty. Doorbell. Ringing. The ringing stopped. 5 minutes of silence. Then her phone buzzed. Text message. Unknown number. I can hear you breathing on the other side of the door. They were right there. Right outside. Inches away. Separated only by a door and a lock. Police arrived 8 minutes later. Searched the building. Checked stairwells. Checked roof access. Checked every floor. Found no one. Reviewed building security footage. Saw nothing. No one approached her door. No one in the hallway during that time. But the doorbell footage showed motion detected. The rings were real. Someone had been there. Just not on camera. The detective told Sarah something off the record. This was professional. Whoever was doing this had training, knowledge, resources. They knew how to avoid cameras, how to use blind spots, how to cover their tracks. This wasn't some amateur. This was someone skilled. He suggested witness protection, relocation program, new identity. She'd have to leave everything. Her job, her family, her life. Disappear completely. Sarah considered it. One night. That's all. One night of thinking about leaving everything behind because someone wouldn't stop watching her. Then she decided no. She was done running. Done hiding. Done being afraid. She was going to find out who this was. She was going to stop them. She started her own investigation. Sarah analyzed everything. Every text. Every call. Every incident. She looked for patterns. The time. Always 2:14 a.m. Never earlier. Never later. Exactly 2:14. She researched the significance. Looked up numerology. Criminal psychology. Stalking patterns. Found nothing specific. But the consistency meant something. It was deliberate. A signature. A calling card. She mapped her movements. Compared them to the timing of messages. Found overlap. Certain locations seemed to trigger responses. Her work. Her gym. Her sister's house. Anywhere she went regularly, messages followed within 24 hours. That's when she realized. They weren't following her every day. They were watching specific locations. Waiting for her to appear. Then confirming they'd seen her. She tested it. Went to a new coffee shop. One she'd never visited. Sat there for an hour. Went home. Waited. Nothing. No text. No call. Nothing. Next day, went to her usual coffee shop. The one near work. Sat for an hour. Went home. That night. 2:14 a.m. Caramel lot. Extra foam. Same as always. They were staking out her regular spots. Not following her everywhere. Just waiting at the places she habitually went. Sarah shared her findings with police. They assigned additional patrols to her regular locations. Plainclothes officers. Surveillance. Trying to catch whoever was watching. For 3 days, heavy police presence. Nothing happened. No texts. No calls. Whoever it was stayed away. Knew the police were there. Police can't maintain that level of surveillance forever. Too expensive. Too many resources. After a week, they scaled back. Occasional drive-bys. Periodic checks. But not constant presence. The texts resumed. Same night the heavy patrols ended. 2:14 a.m. The police left. I noticed. They were watching the watchers. They knew police patterns too. Knew when to hide. When to act. Always one step ahead. Sarah changed tactics. Stopped going to regular places. Stopped having routines. Became unpredictable. Random coffee shops. Random stores. Random routes home. Different every day. No patterns. No predictability. It worked. For 2 weeks. No texts. No contact. Nothing. Then flowers arrived at her work. No card. No name. Just flowers. White lilies. Delivery persons said they were paid for in cash. No record of who sent them. White lilies. Funeral flowers. A message. Subtle. Threatening. You can't hide forever. Sarah's coworkers noticed. Asked if she was okay. She couldn't explain. Couldn't tell them someone had been stalking her for 3 months. Couldn't admit she didn't feel safe anywhere. Couldn't show weakness. She took the flowers to police. They photographed them. Checked with the florist. Cash payment. No name. Security footage showed someone in a hood. Face obscured. Gender unclear. Height average. Nothing identifying. The detective's theory, they were testing boundaries. Moving from digital to physical. Messages to items. Presents to gifts. Escalation. Classic stalking pattern. Next step could be direct contact. Confrontation. Violence. He strongly recommended she leave. At least temporarily. Go somewhere safe. Let them work the case. But Sarah knew. Whoever this was had resources. Patience. They'd found her before. They'd find her again. Unless she found them first. Sarah made a decision. She was going to set a trap. Use herself as bait. Force them to make a mistake. Catch them in the act. She planned it carefully. Announced on social media she'd be at a specific place. Specific time. Public event. Charity run in a local park. Saturday morning. Lots of people. Lots of cameras. Safe environment. But she wouldn't actually go. Instead, she'd watch. See who showed up. See who was looking for her. See who was disappointed when she didn't appear. She coordinated with police. They'd have officers in the crowd. Watching. Recording. Ready to move if someone suspicious appeared. Saturday came. Sarah watched from a cafe across from the park. Had a clear view of the charity run. Hundreds of people. Runners. Volunteers. Spectators. She scanned faces. Looking for someone watching too intently. Someone searching. Someone waiting. 2 hours. Nothing. No one suspicious. No one out of place. Event ended. Crowds dispersed. Police found nothing. Sarah felt deflated. It hadn't worked. They were too smart. They'd seen through it. She went home. Exhausted. Defeated. Opened her apartment door. Stopped. On her kitchen counter. Where she'd left her keys that morning. A white lily. Single flower. Placed carefully in a glass of water. They'd been inside. While she was gone. While she was watching the park. They'd been here. Sarah didn't touch it. Didn't move. Called police. Immediately. They came. Processed the scene. Dusted for prints. Checked locks. Checked windows. Reviewed her security cameras. Nothing. Cameras showed her leaving. Showed her returning. Showed no one else entering. Door never opened. Windows never breached. Yet the flower was there. It didn't make sense. Security cameras covered her door. Motion sensors covered the windows. Smart locks recorded every access. According to technology, no one entered. But evidence said otherwise. The detective looked pale. He'd been working this case for 3 months. Seen the escalation. Seen the precision. But this was different. This showed a level of capability that was frightening. He said something Sarah would never forget. Whoever this is, they're not just watching you. They're demonstrating they can reach you anywhere, anytime, despite any precautions. That's not a stalker. That's a message. You're never safe. That night, Sarah didn't stay in her apartment. Couldn't. Went to a hotel. Didn't tell anyone which one. Paid cash. Used a fake name. Random location. At 2:14 a.m., her phone buzzed. Text message. Unknown number. The hotel on Queen Street. Room 247. You shouldn't sleep near the window. Sarah stood up. Walked to the window. Closed the curtains. Sat back down. Stared at her phone. They knew. They knew exactly where she was. In real time. Right now. She called the detective. He answered on the first ring. She told him. He went quiet. Then said he was coming. Stay put. Don't leave the room. Officers were on their way. While she waited, Sarah thought. How did they know? She told no one. Used cash. Random choice. No digital trail. No pattern. Yet they knew the street. Knew the room number. Knew she was near the window. Only one explanation. They were there. Right now. Somewhere. Watching the hotel. Watching her window. They'd followed her. Or they'd been waiting. Knowing she'd run. Knowing she'd hide. They knew her better than she knew herself. Police searched the area. Checked rooftops. Checked parked cars. Checked nearby buildings with sight lines to her room. Found nothing. No surveillance equipment. No person watching. No cameras. Nothing. But someone had been there. Someone had seen. Someone had known. The detective sat with Sarah in her hotel room. 3 a.m. He looked tired. Defeated. He'd been a detective for 19 years. Worked hundreds of cases. Never seen anything like this. He said they had 2 options. 1. Witness protection. Real program. New identity. Leave tonight. Disappear completely. 2. Stay and wait. Let them make a bigger mistake. Catch them in person. Sarah asked what he'd do. He hesitated. Then said honestly, he'd choose option 1. This person, whoever they were, had skills beyond normal stalking. Resources. Maybe law enforcement training. Maybe military. Maybe intelligence. The kind of person who doesn't get caught unless they want to be. Sarah chose option 2. Not out of bravery. Out of stubbornness. Out of anger. Out of refusal to let fear win. The detective agreed. But conditions. She'd wear a tracking device. Hidden. Always on. If anything happened, they'd know immediately. She'd have a panic button. Direct line to police. Press it, units respond within minutes. She'd move again. One more time. But this time, different strategy. Public housing. Building with security. Cameras everywhere. Guards at entrance. Community of neighbors. Safety in numbers. And she'd go public. Tell her story. News media. Newspapers. Social media. Make it impossible for them to operate in shadow. Shine light on what they were doing. Force them into the open. It was risky. Could escalate things. Could provoke them. But staying hidden hadn't worked. Maybe exposure would. The story ran 3 weeks later. Local news. Bristol woman stalked for months despite police protection. Sarah's face on screen. Her voice telling the story. The texts. The flowers. The break-ins. Everything. Response was immediate. Hundreds of messages. Support. Similar stories. Others who'd been stalked. Others who knew the fear. The helplessness. But nothing from the stalker. No texts. No calls. No contact. Complete silence. Days became weeks. Weeks became a month. Nothing. It was like they'd vanished. Like publicizing the story had scared them off. Like exposure worked. Sarah started to breathe again. Started to sleep. Started to believe maybe it was over. 7 weeks of silence. Sarah went back to normal life. Back to work. Back to routines. Back to feeling human. The fear faded. Not gone, but manageable. Then she got a package. Delivered to her workplace. No return address. Just her name. Plain brown box. Security screened it. Nothing dangerous. Sarah opened it at her desk. Inside, wrapped in tissue paper, was a photograph. Her sleeping. In her current apartment. The one she'd moved to 3 weeks ago. The secure building. The one with cameras and guards. The photo was recent. She recognized the pajamas. She'd bought them 2 weeks ago. The angle was from inside her bedroom, looking down at her bed, like someone had been standing there, while she slept, in her supposedly secure home. On the back, written in neat handwriting, 7 weeks. I was giving you time to feel safe again. Did it work? The building had security, cameras in hallways, guards at entrance, electronic locks, visitor logs. Yet someone had been inside her apartment, inside her bedroom, standing over her while she slept. And she never knew. Police reviewed building security footage, reviewed logs, interviewed guards, found nothing. No unauthorized entries, no suspicious visitors, no gaps in coverage. The detective looked at Sarah. He didn't say it, didn't have to. She knew. This wasn't normal stalking. This was beyond police capability, beyond civilian protection. This was someone with professional training, resources, access to tools and techniques that shouldn't be available. He made the call, contacted federal authorities. This was beyond local police now. Potential involvement of someone with government or military background. Potential use of classified surveillance techniques. It needed higher-level investigation. But federal involvement meant waiting, bureaucracy, procedures. And Sarah didn't have time. Every day, every night, someone was watching, waiting, playing with her, demonstrating control. She'd had enough. That night, Sarah didn't go home. Stayed with her sister. 3 locks on the door. Her sister's husband staying awake. Guard duty. Family protection. At 2:14 a.m., her phone rang. A known number. She answered. First time she'd answered in 7 weeks. Silence. Just breathing. Someone there. Listening. Waiting. Sarah spoke. Who are you? What do you want? More silence. Then a voice. Distorted. Electronic. Gender unclear. You went public. That was brave. But it changes nothing. I can reach you anywhere. Anytime. Locks don't matter. Guards don't matter. Federal agents don't matter. There's nowhere you can hide that I can't find you. Why are you doing this? Because I can. Because you're interesting. Because fear is fascinating to watch. You've performed admirably. But I'm bored now. Time to end the game. The line went dead. Sarah sat frozen. In the game, what did that mean? End as in stop? Or end as in finish? Complete? Finalize? She called police. Immediately. Reported the call. They traced the number. Burner phone. Already destroyed. No location data. Nothing. Federal agents arrived within an hour. Interviewed her. Recorded her statement. Took the threat seriously. Arranged immediate protection. Safe house. Undisclosed location. Armed guards. 24-hour surveillance. Sarah packed a bag. Left with the agents. Didn't tell anyone where she was going. Not family. Not friends. Complete isolation. Complete protection. The safe house was rural. Outside Bristol. Old farmhouse. Converted. Secure. 2 agents assigned. Shifts rotating. She wasn't allowed to leave. Wasn't allowed to contact anyone. Complete blackout. For her safety. 3 days of silence. No texts. No calls. Nothing. Sarah started to wonder if the threat was real. Or if it was psychological. Final scare. Final demonstration of power. Then silence. Forever. On the fourth day, morning, she woke up, went to the kitchen. Federal agents sitting at the table, coffee in hand, reading newspaper. She said good morning. He didn't respond. She looked closer. His eyes were open, but he wasn't moving, wasn't breathing. She screamed, ran to the other agent, found him in the living room. Same state. Sitting, eyes open, not moving, not breathing. She grabbed her phone, called emergency services, gave the address, begged them to hurry, checked both agents. No pulse, no breath, no wounds, no blood, just stopped. While she was on the phone, she saw it. On the kitchen counter, a white lily, and a note. Same neat handwriting. Game over. You performed perfectly. But all games must end. Don't worry. I'm done now. You were never in real danger. Just an experiment in fear. Thank you for participating. Police and paramedics arrived 20 minutes later. Found the two agents. The cause unknown. No visible injuries. No toxins initially detected. Sarah showed them the note. The flower. They bagged it as evidence. Searched the farmhouse. Found no signs of entry. Doors locked from inside. Windows secure. No forced entry. No footprints. Nothing. But two federal agents were dead. And someone had been inside. Toxicology reports came back 2 weeks later. Both agents died of cardiac arrest. Simultaneous. Induced by exotic neurotoxin. Undetectable except through specialized testing. Substance available only to intelligence agencies. Military research. Not accessible to civilians. The investigation went classified. Federal case. National security implications. Sarah couldn't talk about it. Signed agreements. Gag orders. The story disappeared from news. Officially, nothing happened. But Sarah knew. She'd been targeted by someone with access to restricted substances, techniques, resources. Someone connected to government or military intelligence. Someone who could bypass any security, enter any location, reach anyone. And they'd called it an experiment, a game. Her terror, her months of fear, her shattered sense of safety, all just data. Entertainment. The federal investigation continued. But Sarah wasn't told anything. Need-to-know basis. She wasn't need-to-know. She was a victim. A witness. A subject. 6 months passed. Sarah moved. Different city this time. Not Bristol. Somewhere smaller. Quieter. She changed her name. Legally. Started over. New job. New life. New identity. No texts. No calls. No flowers. No photographs. Nothing. The stalker kept their word. The game was over. They were done. But Sarah wasn't the same. Never would be. She checked locks obsessively. Covered cameras. Varied routines randomly. Never stayed anywhere too long. Never trusted security. Never felt safe. Because she knew the truth. Safety is an illusion. Privacy is a myth. Anyone with enough skill, enough resources, enough motivation can reach anyone. Anywhere. Anytime. The question isn't whether they can. The question is whether they want to. The investigation officially closed after 8 months. Classified. No conclusions released. No arrests made. No suspects identified. Officially, it never happened. But somewhere, in a classified file, in a government database, Sarah's case exists. Documented. Studied. Analyzed. Proof that someone out there has capabilities beyond public knowledge. Beyond public protection. And they used those capabilities to torture a random woman. For months. For no reason except they could. Except it was interesting. Except fear is fascinating to watch. Sarah sometimes wonders who they are. Where they are. What they're doing now. If they're watching someone else. Playing the same game. Conducting the same experiment. She'll never know. Neither will anyone else. Because some truths stay buried. Some cases stay classified. Some horrors stay hidden. All she knows is she survived. Barely. Broken. But alive. And every night at 2:14 a.m., she wakes up. Can't help it. Body remembers even when mind tries to forget. She checks her phone. No messages. No calls. Nothing. But she knows. Someone out there knows her real name. Her old face. Her history. Someone could find her again if they wanted. Could start the game over. Could prove, once more, that she's never really safe. She thought it was a prank. It wasn't. It was a demonstration. A lesson. A revelation. That anyone can be reached. Anyone can be broken. Anyone can be made to feel terror in their own home. And sometimes, the people who can do this aren't criminals. They're not mentally ill. They're not even evil. They're just bored. And that's the most terrifying thing of all. So, you made it to the end. You've been watching for 24 minutes. Reading Sarah's story. Feeling her fear. Understanding her terror. Now imagine someone's been watching you for 24 minutes. Watching you watch this video. Knowing where you are. What device you're using. What time it is in your location. Creepy, right? That feeling in your stomach. That urge to look behind you. That's what Sarah felt. For 7 months. If this video made you feel even a fraction of that fear, destroy that like button like you're smashing a stalker's phone. Obliterate it. Want more true stories that'll make you check your locks tonight? Subscribe and demolish that bell icon so hard it calls the police. Drop a comment telling us, have you ever felt watched? Ever had something happen that you thought was a prank but turned out to be real? We want to hear your stories. Maybe your experience will be our next video. And hey, share this with your friends. Let them feel that same chill you just felt. Let them understand why Sarah couldn't sleep. Why she still can't. Because here's the thing. Sarah's story is real. The case is classified. The details are accurate. And somewhere out there, someone has these capabilities. Someone who might be watching. Might be selecting. Might be planning their next game. Sleep well tonight. Or try to. Just remember, it's 2:14 a.m. somewhere. And someone, somewhere, is getting a text message they think is a prank. But it's not. Stay safe out there. Lock your doors. Cover your cameras. And whatever you do, don't answer unknown numbers at 2:14 a.m.